Hello, internets. Jesus loves you. My name's Cody, and this is the Christian News Show we do every Tuesday. And we're going to jump right into it with an update to a story we talked about last week. And that was a story about Kevin Sorbo being banned from a Comic-Con. It turns out that Cliff Galabrath is kind of a genius, and I definitely fell into his trap. And the reason I say that is because I and many other news outlets were talking about this story. And it turns out that Kevin Sorbo had no intention of going to this convention in the first place. Kevin Sorbo stated that he was never invited to the convention in the first place. His agent had never contacted the convention to see if he could be a guest, and it's actually a relatively small convention. Also, props to Kevin Sorbo for the way that he handled this. He says he finds it very amusing, but it's also a very smart move for Galabrath to have done. He also says it's no surprise that a liberal person would be judging him for his conservative views, and it drums up a whole ton of attention. I mean, a lot of you who watched this video last week probably had never even heard of East Coast Comic-Con. And I'm just one of the little guys. There are many other news outlets that are much bigger that we're talking about this. Controversy is one of the easiest marketing tools out there. The only problem with it is that it puts you on one side or the other. For that, we go to our next story of the day, which is about somebody who took Jesus Take the Wheel a little too seriously. According to Chad England, he was taking his Toyota truck down an interstate in Tennessee when he heard a voice say, "Let go of the wheel." And because, as any good Christian knows, you don't question the voice of God, he decided to do so. And then, according to the police report, he flipped his truck 5 times, jumped out of it, and took off, holding a jar and speaking gibberish. So here's a pro tip for all of us Christians out there. If you are high, it's probably not the voice of God. England was charged with driving under the influence, felony possession of Schedule II drugs for resale, manufacture, or deliver, possession of Schedule IV drugs, possession of drug paraphernalia, due care, driving without a license, registration not in possession, and violation of financial responsibility law, an open container. According to England, he was not taking off. He wasn't fleeing from the scene. He was simply running towards someone he was told he needed to bow down in front of. So moral of the story, if you want to hear from God, get some of this in your system, not drugs. And from that, we go on to the final story of the day. By now, most of you know that I am a bit of a geek. If you don't, I don't know how. But because of that, it always excites me when I get to talk about something geeky on the Christian News Show. According to Shope Aluko, there was a pretty Christian moment on the set of the Black Panther movie. She said during breaks, everyone would kind of share their testimonies of how they got to where they are today. And that through this, many of them testified to God's miracles in their lives. And shout out to Aluko, because it was probably her faith that kind of prompted discussions like this. She's very vocal about her faith on social media. I would absolutely love to see the conversations that they had. I'm sure that they weren't filmed in any way. But when it comes to Hollywood, Christianity be kind of hushed. Everyone keeps it really quiet. So moments like this, they're a huge deal to me. I think there's more faith in Hollywood than even we realize. Question of the day, we're going to get theological, try not to fight each other. Do you believe that God speaks audibly to people? Yes or no? I have never heard the audible voice of God before. I, for the most part, believe that if you want to hear God, you can hear everything he has to say in the Bible. But I'm not against, I don't think that like people who say they've heard God's audible voice, I don't doubt them necessarily. Though I stand by what I say. If you are doing drugs and you hear God while you're high, not God. Not even a little bit. As always, I want to know what you guys have to say, so please leave a comment in the comment section down below. It's okay to have opinions. Don't fight about it. It's not a big deal. As always, my name's CodyArmour, bringing Christian news in a not so boring kind of way every Tuesday. We'll see you next week. Love ya. God bless.